you so much for coming to Next Gen Speaks Out. I really did not want to be here myself. I had another moderator, but unfortunately, he is on a school trip. So I'm pinch hitting for Alex today, but you'll hear mostly from the teams themselves. First off, I'd like to, like everyone else, thank Minnesota Street Projects for hosting us. They've been amazing to work with. And who else has been amazing to work with is the Manifest Differently team. Look at these ladies here. I've really made a lot of new friends through this project, and it's been amazing to work with old friends, make new friends, and I couldn't be more excited to be a part of this challenging, complicated, messy, exhilarating project. So without further ado, I'm going to, like all of the, oh, actually no, that's still me. Okay, so I wanted a little bit of background of what it is that we do. So I run an organization called City Studio, and we, I was going to put to the website. Kerra, see if you can get that to be a website. Kerra has worked with me for a number of years, so she's used to helping me with IT support. You know where it is. Yes, they know. Okay, so yeah, so we have a new website. Where's my friend Kate, who did the old website? Thank you. No. Your work does live on in the archives, but we have a new face of the website. Yeah, go down, go down. All right, wait, stop. My collaborative partner, Chris Chazari. Yeah, we're gonna listen to a little bit of this. You'll get to see a very young Daria. This was her first. She was in the program even before I was. So go up. Sorry. Yep. Wait, down. Right there. There's a button. Yeah, we're gonna hear that. Oh, I wonder if there's sound.
Can you set your sound source to Samsung?
Yes.
Okay, great.
It's coming from the computers.
Yeah, you have to set the...
Thank you, David. Yeah, he's not done yet.
Go to your,
He's still working.
your audience over there.
This is for my IT skills.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm in my 50s. And when I'm like talking in front of people, it all goes away. All the brain cells, yes. Thank you, tech support.
The Heroes of Unity project is about giving the youth power to go out and share and express with the community the power of heroes in their lives and their stories.
Together, we're trying to build out this larger portrait and start to ferment these ideas of how regular people can be heroes.
Screen printing has always been something that is really accessible. You're able to make so much of your art so fast. Screen printing is so powerful. We have such a connection, even with different backgrounds and different ethnicities. We are able to connect through art. We are able to work on some screen prints together.
The origin of this idea was to build a team of artists to make an intergenerational program that sought to look at how we can unify what's considered a divided society right now.
The idea of the unity has to do with community. We are working on these projects together, in not only printmaking project, but in life itself. I think that we're losing a sense of connection with others. The kids that came to the project came from different backgrounds, different schools, different ages.
There are poets, there are visual artists, there are fashion designers, and I think I really learned that just the arts as a whole, as a community, I can relate to all these people. It's really exhilarating.
What are the values of being a hero today? What does it mean to be inclusive in society? And how do we build the pathways to travel a road of inclusivity? We're looking at the history of immigration in America.
The idea of like coming back together, we are not alone. We are all in this together.
There are some really weighty stories behind each of the pieces because we all pick stories with personal significance.
We worked over about a year to develop this out into a place where we would take this out into the streets.
People go to galleries and museums, but we wanted to bring the art outside to the public. We purchased 5 bicycles, and with the students, we designed a printing unit. The students were there, printing, talking to people, giving posters away, getting responses.
We are at Fruitvale BART Station, Dia de los Muertos, and I have made a lot of prints down there like a cat.
We've been printing for about 2 or 3 hours with our Dia de los Muertos specific designs.
Today we're making probably between 1,000 or 2,000 prints. It's hard to say.
And it kept gathering like crowds around the print carts when we were sharing our stories.
So this is about my great-grandmother and her 7 children and how she, yes, everybody's printing their own design, so we're all student artists. Thank you.
People were excited to receive a print.
When people hear free posters, it lights up their face because I think there's something about having art that there's some sort of barrier, and so people really like having accessible art making too has been really special to just get so many people involved in the process.
When you work in museums and cultural centers, you tend to get one type of audience. When you're working on the street, it's deeply democratic.
It's like a person-to-person connection, and I think that also makes it so that people getting the prints are more engaged and more involved. There's less of a barrier and more of a conversation.
We also gather stories from everyone else, like who people's personal heroes would be. And sometimes we take those stories and we actually make designs and prints of them.
The buses and the billboards were the next step in the Heroes Unity project, and it's really about amplification of this really important work.
We have 23 bus shelters here.
I'm going to leave it at that, but that for many of you who have seen the mobile art bike in action, that was the origin story of how those art bikes came to be. And that was very much, the Heroes of Unity really turned into Artivate. And it's very much in keeping with how we work now as a collaborative team, how we work with the public, how we work with different ideas and concepts. And we will hear more about that, some of the more current projects from our current crop of artists, although you may have seen Daria in that video. Next slide, Kerra. Thank you. Okay, so in keeping with how Manifest Differently has been running over the course of its 6 weeks, as you know from being around and being part of the project, it's really half artists and half poets, and I'm very, very pleased to have a poet kind of start us off today. They are 12. They obviously have shared the stage with some very impressive company, and I'd like to introduce Rhiannon Hewitt now.
This poem is entitled Thank You. It's about what people say versus what they mean, and how a lot of pressure is put down upon the younger generation to fix what's happened in the past. Yeah. There is no true difference. No one or another. No, this is you, and this is me. We all have time on this earth. There is darkness in the beginning. There is darkness at the end. It's in the middle, where things are infinite. I hear thank you. Thank you for cleaning this mess. Thank you for taking up this burden. When in reality, it's a little over a decade since I arrived. I need the knowledge that stretches beyond my eyes. Please, don't say thank you. Say come with me, and let's mend together. We are a huge species. Millions of faces, and hands, and words. There is only one green expanse, one brushstroke of blue, one pale moon. Fixing this is not easy alone. The knowledge we thirst for is held in the hands of the ones beyond our years. Instead of looking upon it in scrutiny, take it in your hands and seal the cracks made by before.
Thank you so much, Rhiannon. That was really beautiful. So back to me. Artivate. So as you saw from Heroes of Unity, Artivate really started during the pandemic when everything shut down. That was when I ran into Justin Hoover and Chris Trajari on the street, and we started talking about working with youth, and we discovered that we liked to do the same things. We talked about the same things. We tried to give youth artists a voice in public or help them develop their voices. So we decided to work together, and that is what we have been doing ever since. So I'm going to hand this over to Daria Belle, who, as you heard, has been an Artivator before me. She's the original OG. So how do you want to do this, Daria? Do you want to do the slides? Do you want to tell me the next slide?
Yeah, kind of just like the pictures, like I'm just going to describe a little bit about, I guess, just the project.
Can you hold the mic closer to your mouth, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, so the first project is when we were making murals during the pandemic. This specifically I felt like this was a really important project to me. This is the second public art-based project that I did. So following the Heroes of Unity installment. So this is our first time working with City Studio, and it was like in the fall of the pandemic, so fall of 2020. And I was a freshman in a new high school in a new city, and it was really important to me that I had something to connect to because I didn't know any people at my school. I was on Zoom, and it was kind of nerve-wracking to, like, I don't know, be placed in an environment, so this kind of gave me an avenue to express in a way. So we're just thinking about public art in the age of the pandemic, and especially thinking about how all the businesses were boarded up during this time and what we could do to Artivate, or to implement artivism into our community. So this was mainly based in San Francisco. So this is an image from one of the murals that we did on Haight Street. This is on the windows of the Walgreens, and we had multiple, so the parklets and just decorating local businesses and things like that. And can you go back to the first one? That one. This was one of the bigger murals that we worked on. I was really proud of the work that all of us did on this one particularly, because I think there are at least 20 people that individually contributed their own unique style and influence into the piece, which was something that I thought was really beautiful, that we were able to still come together. And while we were painting this, we got a lot of community members coming up to us and talking to us, and it made us feel super welcomed, because obviously we're painting on this giant wall in this community, and it feels nice to have our work be welcomed. So at least the concept that I wanted to bring into this mural was the idea of spreading seeds of change. So planting seeds that grow into either implement in people's minds, the idea of change, or be change itself, whether that's through civic engagement or through politics or something like that. So that was my idea of having this woman over here just spreading the seeds, and you can see the flowers on the other side. There too, but
Yeah, it was a lot of people. It only took, I think, like 3 days or like 4 days for this to come together, which is crazy because this is huge. This is on Potrero and Mission. And yeah, this is just a really, like, this is a highlight of the project for at least for me. So we did a couple of the smaller murals in the Haight, as I mentioned before. And then later on, we did a project with, or we went out to the wheat pasting or the de-appropriation wall on Valencia. And we were able to wheat paste a lot of the prints that the students in the program had made. And just, it was, like, I had never done before, and it like encouraged me to continue doing like public art because I realized it was really easy to just go out in the community and just get whatever message out that you wanted to. So that was really cool. And you can see, yeah, that's all this there. And you essentially are wheat pasting over like other people's work, which kind of made me sad, but at the same time, it just like, I think it's really cool that we were able to see the, I guess, evolution of the political or just like social climate of San Francisco and Valencia. And then afterwards, we were able to just look at, I guess, the art in the local areas. This is a gallery, and this was one of the artists that we were talking to's studio, so we were able to just like, you know, just gauge, learn from the professionals.
That's actually, for a lot of people, that's Renee DiCarlo, who worked with us on that first mural at Walgreens, which we actually went by today. Still there, not tagged, so really impressive. So it's in the parking lot of the Walgreens on Potrero and 24th. And Renee DiCarlo has gone on to do a lot of very big community curated exhibitions as the drawing room. Really impressive work. And this was, she was just starting out then.
And then this is a print that I did in collaboration with another artist, Jessica. But it's essentially like the idea of like spreading seeds of change, just like the idea of equality or equity, and that we as a community, not specifically just youth, but just as a community in general, need to be the driving forces behind the change, because we can keep complaining, but nothing's going to change if we don't do something. And just like the flowers and like growth and just the idea of the butterfly in general, which I believe we were inspired by, I forget what it was, but the idea of like migration and change and cycles and things like that. And then another thing that this project in general, I think, taught all of the students was the power of the voice that we have through our hands and through our voices. Because a lot of our murals, especially regarding issues related to like trans rights and things like that, got tagged, especially in the Haight, which was upsetting, like obviously, but and we were able to, we went out and tried to fix it a couple of times, I remember, but it just kept getting tagged by whatever hate speech that, like, and it was on the local businesses, so it was very upsetting, but it definitely told us, like, we can invoke emotion in other people, whether it's good or bad, like, our voice is very powerful enough for somebody else to get mad at it. And then finally, I think this was like the final part of the project. This was a year after, like, if you saw in the video, the event that we did at Dia de los Muertos. This was during the pandemic, so we wanted to create a lot of prints around, I guess, like we created this altar, and it was around, we were using motifs from, like Dia de los Muertos, but inserting pandemic-related things like masks and things like that. But it was just, another engagement with the community. We were able to hand out prints at the Fruitvale station, like kind of as people were walking through, because we weren't really able to have that same festival like we were the previous year. Okay, and then we have public art now. So the first part of this project, we were at the David Ireland House, also known as 500 Cap Street, which was the residency and kind of studio of the late David Ireland, who was a
very, very talented conceptual artist, and we were able to learn a lot about what even art is, or like what the definition of art is, if you can even say that, and like the idea of creating space and just like, yeah, just the idea of conceptual art in general. And this was particularly fun for me because I've always been more like, I'm gonna go with the technical aspects of the piece rather than like the speech or the, I guess, abstract nature of it. So it was really cool to experiment with not just making art for the sake of making art, but for myself. And there was like 3 different aspects to this. The David Island house itself is like almost a museum because it's, every single element in there has some kind of meaning to it, whether it's like the varnish on the walls, or it's the different seating, or it's the bedroom, or it's the dining room table with all the different trinkets and stuff. So we were able to look through and see all the different, like, I guess, I don't know necessarily preserved, but just like concepts that were in the house. And then we're also, here is us making like circular, like spheres out of concrete. So we were sitting there, this is something that David Ironman regularly practiced, just in solitude, but we would take a wet blob of concrete and just toss it around for hours. And they could be like this big or like small. We did small, obviously, because we only had like 3 hours. But you can just toss it around, just kind of just thinking and just in silence and solitude. And it was like a super meditative experience. And that's something I really enjoyed. We were able to look at the house, and then
Remember this guy, David Wilson?
yes, we were also like outside. I don't know if you saw that first picture, but we were also out there just like experimenting with like color and just a range of just different mediums. But then another aspect, which was really like, it was just so amazing to see, was this art walk that we took of sorts, which was kind of like a scavenger hunt, I would say, but we were able to walk through the neighborhoods in San Francisco, and we would stop at different places along our path and record our thoughts, I think, on this like recorder, and we would also be just like having discussions, answering questions, and we were all contributing. Like we had 3 different groups. And
We were still in pods at this point.
So, COVID. And we were all along the way creating this like art piece. It was kind of unseen in a way because it was just kind of fragmented, but it represented like the thoughts that we had and just sketching along the way, like the views, and it was just, yeah, just really cool. That's one of the pictures of one of the pieces that were completed. So it's really just like a jumble of whatever the people in that cohort were thinking about, and it was just a really fun exercise. And then we got to spend some time at SFAI, and I believe that was, we were looking at an exhibit there, and that was really fun to see as well. And then finally,
This is still the same.
yeah.
The same semester. This is crazy.
This is a lot. But this is definitely my favorite part of the semester. Or actually, no, I can't have a favorite. I liked all of it. This was, we were also in pods, but this was based out of the Oakland office of the of Collective Action Studio, which Chris is kind of the head of. And we were right under the Harrison Hotel, which is an SOA housing project. And the whole point of this project, or this half of the semester of sorts, was based on interviewing former and current residents of that housing project. And it was really like insightful to hear their life stories, and particularly like the woman who was my cohort. All the students did, or the cohort did one collective mural, like you can see the 3 murals, but we also did our own individual prints. And the woman that we did our project on, her name is Sabrina, and she was a former resident of the Harrison Hotel, and just hearing her experience, she worked heavily in harm reduction, and I feel like that's her right there. That's part of the reason why I ended up going into it. So this, like, I feel like that's why I said, like, this is, like, part of my favorite part. Because, like, it inspired me, like, her work, and because we were able to interview her and just, like, ask her questions and stuff like that, and, like, make pieces based on her life and her opinions and just her as a person. Yeah, and then we had, like, a final culminating project.
Can I ask you to talk louder? I'm sorry. Can't hear you from back here.
Could you go back to that one? Yeah. So this is the specifically the mural that our cohort did. So we chose to represent her as kind of like a superhero because she is saving lives by handing out free, like clean needles and having access to Narcan and like life-saving drugs like that. So we I think it was 5 of us, but we all like had a different segment of the piece. And mine was down here, and like she said that she had a lot of connection with her patients, and it was more of like her helping them and them helping her, if that makes sense. And that was like really like just the community aspect of the conversation that we had with her really stood out to me. So that's why I chose to represent her as such. But like a lot of the, especially in my print as well, I wanted to represent her in sort of like a light at the end of the tunnel, if that makes sense. So a lot of it has to like, yeah, that was the point. But like I see her as like a saint of sorts because she's saving lives, and it's just like the good in her heart was just so inspiring. But yeah, that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you so much, Daria.
I'm here to talk about something. I can't wait to figure out what it is. Oh, okay. So, I feel like everyone like wrote down stuff for this, but I didn't. We went to the Judy Chicago
I'm sorry,
show.
can you introduce yourself before you start talking so we know who you are?
If you want to know who I am. I'm Devin. Nice to meet y'all. I'm a sophomore. I'm actually 16 now, so that's wrong. I go to Oakland School for the Arts, and I'm going to be talking about our Feminism Now part of the program. This was us going to the Judy Chicago show. There's Julian and Daria there. Yep. And the next slide, that's me and my mom. Do you remember whose birthday was, Daria? The one that's on the left. Yeah.
That is Jessica's.
Oh, cool, yeah. That was one of the people in our program, Miss Print.
Do you remember this event?
I remember it vividly, and I would never forget the name.
Joy on Joy.
Joy on Joyce.
This is attached to.
Hello, me again. Attached to the Chinese Historical Society of America. So they put on this day-long festival.
Yeah, that was super cool. We got to print with the public. I think that was the first time I ever did printing. It's like 2 hours. I got sick after it from how hard I worked, but it was really fun. And it was just awesome getting to like hand prints out to people and do that. Yeah, that's me with the curly hair and the black dress.
That's when we
discovered Devin was like an amazing printmaker. Really incredible.
Thanks. But yeah, that's the print. It's really beautiful. What was this? I don't think I was here for this. I think it was Julian and Daria.
Indigenous Peoples Day. We did this event at H Street Arts Center. Ooh, Rhiannon was there before you were in the program. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, so that was really cool. We were working with the artist Rai Purvis, and we had there's 2 prints that we were working with. Do you know who did these prints? Do we know? Prints. And I know that Kim Shuck is particularly interested in this, who's been working with this organization, NMIW, and No More Stolen Sisters. So I think that this print may have another life through Kim. So this is the H2. Back to you.
This is the Haight Street Art Center. This is where we do most of our work in San Francisco. They have a whole place for screen printing, and that's where we all kind of learn to do screen printing there. Oh, this is Haight Street Art Center. I'm sorry, I have really bad social anxiety, guys. This is like my nightmare.
You're doing well.
Thanks. But yeah, that's a screen print, and we learned about the whole process of emulsion and how to do it. They showed us a demonstration and stuff. Oh wow, my posture's really bad in that. And then we also got to interview some members of the community in the area who I think like lived, right, yeah, they were in the apartment across from us, and just about like their life and stuff, and then we made screen prints based off of that.
Okay, but do you remember who they are and what they are?
Wow. This is my mom. Yeah. That's Julian taking a photo.
So that's Alba and Donna, Donna Persona, who are very important part of the trans community. And Alba was an incredible social worker. And so we made work inspired by these two incredible activists.
And then we had an art show. This is the show. There was like, we designed like a background print for it. And then there are some of our screen prints up there. And that was really cool. Yeah, and we had the bikes put up also.
Is that wallpaper?
Oh yeah. Who decided was that Chris?
I'm glad you asked. Kate Nelson in the house, want to talk about the wallpaper?
I can if you want. For a second.
So Kate was working with us for that semester and a few semesters.
Squat down just so I don't block everything. First, I just want to say I'm so happy that you guys are all here and you're doing amazing. And it's been awesome to see you guys grow over the years now that I've moved away from teaching the program. I can't say I'm proud of. I'm in awe of your resilience, your confidence, and all the amazing work that you guys do. And I'm just so happy to see you guys all thriving. To answer the question about the wallpaper, thanks. Yeah, I designed wallpaper also based on the stories of the people in the community that we interviewed. My work has historically worked with a lot of symbols and how symbols can carry messages in a very direct and also very indirect way. So I distilled a lot of their stories into a series of symbols that I then created a repeat pattern for in 2 different wallpapers. So that's one of them. And then there was another, and there's another one. So one of the wallpapers represented symbols that I distilled from Ella's story and the other from Donna's story. And we used it as backdrop. Good.
Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Devin. I just want to thank you. I did throw some of this at them last minute, but they have been training with us to know that you never know what's going to happen next. You never know what you're going to be talking about. And I thank you all for your ability to be flexible and resilient. Okay, Kim Lee. Hi.
Hello, I'm Kim, the second, like, the other Kim. I'm actually 15, and yeah, I'm age. That's a lot. What is that word saying? Frosh?
Frosh.
Sure, I'll be Frosh.
You're a frosh. Freshman.
I'll be Frosh.
Fresh person?
I'm a freshman in Gateway High School, so sure. This project, Dancing on the Roof, we do not actually dance on the roof. But this is about, oh my god, this was so long ago. This was in like 2021. This is when I first joined. When I was in 7th grade. Weird. So, what is this photo? Hold up. Oh, we were at the Asian
Chinese Historical Society.
Chinese Historical Museum, and we interviewed. Oh my god, I can't remember the names. This is so long ago. It was at the Bruce Lee exhibit where we interviewed these two people. It was
Oh, no, yeah, no, but she's talking about these two people, and I'm not gonna come up with their names either. But we did talk about Arthur Fong and the other one.
Wait, wasn't it Arthur Fong?
Was it like swords or something?
Oh, this is sad, you
We're
guys.
so prepared.
I know.
Oh, this is our mural. Oh my god. That's you and my highlighter fit.
Wait, I'm trying to come up with the other person's name. Kate, anything?
I'm looking at it.
Was it Andrew Wall? Son of something.
Well, no,
Oh, that's on paper. I
You
still
know
have
Son of Paper.
Yeah, I still have a sticker.
That's Son of Paper, who was this amazing rapper, young rapper, who we, yeah, let's talk about him.
Yeah, so we designed prints for Son of Paper in to kind of represent his form of activism in an API and how his songs have what's the word? Represented and advocated for API in Chinatown. He has a YouTube channel. He has really good music. I remember listening to him sing or rap when we were at the Chinese Historical Museum, and he put on a performance, and we did a lot of screen printing. So these are some of the prints. The one before was Julian and I kind of collaborated on it. I was mostly emotional support, and the no, I go back. What is it? This mural, it was between California Street, right? Yeah. It was a bunch of us worked on it. We kind of titled it last minute, called Solidarity in the Struggle. It was about Arthur, who was a film writer, and
Yeah, the filmmaker, and the other man who I'm so embarrassed I can't think of his name, incredible community activist, and worked in Chinatown for decades, really very influential in the community. You done?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Kim.
Hi everyone, my name is Kerra Hendrickson. I'm kind of been an interesting, I'm not necessarily a youth, but I am also a youth. I'm 21, so I've been kind of in this weird in between of mentoring / being a student, and oftentimes learning with all the students. And I was a former USF student studying art, and art doesn't make you a lot of money, so I'm going to nursing school so I can, continue pursuing my art career. So I'm at City College right now. So let's talk about my Oakland agenda. So we, like Daria said, we worked in a similar space where Chris in his nonprofit, and we worked with the SRO that was above the space, and we talked to residents. John and who's the woman we talked to? Do you remember? You'll see a lovely picture of her soon. She's at the end of the table. But we ended up talking about what they found important in conversations that they want to talk about within Oakland. And oftentimes those voices aren't the ones that are heard. And so it was really exciting to, Melba, if we can go to that slide with the notes, that would be great, or actually the previous. Sorry. You're all good. So what we did is we interviewed the two, and they were amazing people to talk to. They told us their life stories, and like I said, you usually hear from people who are obviously more affluent and not living in SROs and hearing their opinions of what they're passionate about. And it's really unfortunate that we don't get to hear the voices of, our community members who are kind of lived a different situation than people we see in the media. So it was really awesome. We asked a lot of questions, we took a lot of notes, and then from there, we wanted to represent their ideas and put them within the community. So then we started creating and drawing our thoughts and ideas. Here's the creation process. During this process, I neglected to mention we got a lot of creative inspiration because we went to the Oakland Art Museum and they were also running a show based off of activism of community members, specifically I think feminine themes, and it was really inspiring. And then from there we also took photography of the community, which was really fun to do street photography. We got out our phones, and then during the process we ended up meeting community members, and that was one of my favorite days. It was a gorgeous day outside. We were all taking photos on our phones, which was nice because it was very accessible because we didn't have these big cameras and worry about aperture and ISO. We were just like, let's take some photos of what's around us and see what intrigues us, and that also got us inspired within the community. Then we did the designing process at Hayes Street Art Center, and some of the poster ideas, this is the one I was working on. Melba had said that, she really liked the idea of neighborhood watch signs, but they're a little bit scary and a little bit not welcoming, but they had a good message. And so I redesigned a poster saying neighborhood kind of watch with the eyes, community or neighborhood community watch, we look after each other. So that was kind of a more positive way of looking into it. And then another important topic was children and being left in cars, and how oftentimes we'll forget our children. That was one of the topics they were really passionate about, which is something I kind of neglect to remember sometimes, but they were saying, something we struggle with in Oakland is sometimes you have a long day, you've worked hard, and you're picking up groceries, and they experienced knew a lot of people who left the kids in their cars on a hot day. So that was one of the inspirations of the many, and I don't know if you guys want to talk on any, Kim, what was the one you were on that you made? This pink one.
Yeah, I think it was more of how emotions aren't seen.
Yeah, sorry.
So I think it was more about emotions kind of being kept back, or being held back because of not wanting to express, or someone kind of overshadowing them with let's say anger
or violence, yeah,
which can be scary. So you kind of suppress those emotions. So I think that was more one of my pieces was about at the time.
Yeah. So like I said, we took the interview and then we made these posters, and then from there we ended up live screen printing similar to other events on 12th Street in Harrison. It was a great time. We had food, we had music, we had all the residents in the community come around, and it was a beautiful experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. It was something I'll remember, and I love all the artwork that came out of it, and I'm still inspired to this day, and I've been illegally weed pasting since I was young, so it's nice to finally do it legally and with a purpose. Yes. Anyways, so yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kerra. All right, Amaris, you're up.
Hi, everyone. I'm Amaris. I'm actually 15, not 16. I go to Ruthasava School of the Arts in San Francisco, and I'm specifically for architecture and design. So this project was what was it called?
Market Street Stories.
Market Street Stories. So, as we all know, Market Street is where things happen, where all the big protests happen. So the goal for this art piece was to take a bunch of pictures from all the way from the 1940s till now from protests or some big celebrations that have happened on Market Street. That's me last year. And we made a big mural of a bunch of pictures of protests / celebrations that, wait, did I say mural? I meant collage. I meant collage. And it was supposed to be like an interactive piece where people could put their own little protest sign saying, I don't know, well, climate change or whatever. And we also made our own little personal collage pieces where you could silk screen an element onto it. And then there was also, what's it called, AR, which was like you would scan a QR code and then you would put your camera towards the collage, and then there would be like an interactive piece with it. People were able to silk screen their own print and pick out like what color they wanted and what collage they wanted to print over. And we did that for like a couple Saturdays. Yeah.
All right, thank you. That was really, that was one of my favorite projects. What a big project that was. It was a lot of fun out there on Market Street, and the interactive element. And Cheryl, I can't think about that project without saying, giving some kudos to Cheryl Meeker, also in the crowd, who was instrumental in that project. So, thank you, Cheryl. All right, we've got a new Artivator, who I guess not really an Artivator, more like a city studio, TA, intern. My new right-hand person. I'm very happy to introduce you to Vicky Li, who the minute I met her, I'm like, ooh, you're going to be part of my other project. You're going to be a mentor for industrial design outreach, which Kerra also does, as well as Kim Shuck. So happy to say that Kim is also one of my mentors for at Academy High School. She wrote something special for us. So I'm very excited for studying writing and graphic design at CCA.
So I also didn't really get the memo that we're supposed to talk about, IDO, industrial design outreach. So I only really have one slide, so you're forced to see, look at my face. So I am a mentor and not a mentee, so it may look like that, being the one being taught, but I am the one teaching. So I think just to generalize what I did during industrial design outreach as a mentor, I kind of pretty much learning how to teach kids that are really not that older than me. So really, it's like this idea of how do I motivate them and also keep this seniority as I'm literally 1 or 2 years older than them, and I'm really no different from them because I just graduated from Wash, and this is my first year in California College of the Arts. So outside of that, I kind of really want to think, well, since I am...
You're doing great. Yeah, get right in there.
Since I am attending California College of the Arts, I thought that maybe I should really think about and talk about some stuff that inspired me during the time in my classes. So one of the stuff that I want to talk about is the conversation of discourse and environmentalism. And to highlight that aspect, because it is prevalent today, first I really want to talk about Stuart Hall. But who is Stuart Hall? Here comes the paper. He was a Jamaican-British cultural theorist, but also a Marxist author. He uses the term discourse in a way that differs from the term that we use in everyday. When he talks about discourse, it refers to a set amount of statements used in a specific language to carry a specific image and feeling on a concept. If you were to continuously repeat these statements, it eventually becomes a retrieving of truth, as he calls it. It is never about whether or not that concept is true or false. When implemented effectively, it becomes a quote reality. This reality is based on differing life experiences, subscribed philosophies, and secular to non-secular beliefs. So really it's this thing about how it doesn't matter whether it really is a reality in a quote sense, because what we consider a reality is really this concept of what, so we prioritize knowledge in life. That's why we have to get educated to get a very good job, right? That's why doctors have to take more time in school, because we value knowledge and we think that structurally that is what makes us more competent. And in that way, what is a reality is different, because not everyone is educated in the world. And even in America and in any other country, not everyone is 100% educated. And literacy differs, and opportunities also differ depending on your identity, race, and where you were born. So how does this come back to Orientalism? The Orient refers to the country of the East, but east of whom is not Europe. The concept of Orientalism in itself is a Eurocentric invention. While its language is no longer used often, much of how we interact with one another is very embedded in this idea of the Oriental, the concept of the other. If we believe that Asians are exotic and much more, quote, subservient, which are a set of statements repeated until it is effectively incorporated into our minds. Hence, it becomes a regime of truth, an infantilization, and in turn a dehumanization of a set of people on a basis of fantasy. I think a great example of this is really Disney and the, Disney, like, movie Aladdin. Like, why is Princess Jasmine wearing the same clothes that you would see in the harem girls from the sex work in the show? Like, what does that show us if that is what we're showing to our kids, and how every single villain inside of Aladdin has to be darker skinned, has an accent, wears a turban? Like, what does that mean, right? So, when we really connect this back to the modern day, if we really choose to go down this, like, I guess if we really wanted to think about discourse and regime of truth, I think one of my best examples, and really my ending point, is if we choose to dehumanize Palestine as animals like Israel chooses to justify in their regime of truth, then America would be no different than when we called indigenous people savages. And that's kind of it.
Well done, Vicky. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Okay, that really leads us to the project we did over the summer called Manifest Differently. Artivate was invited to do a mural on Clarion Alley as part of this project that you see outside here. And we have this beautiful mural and also this amazing, I want to work that website. The website artist, R.J. Ramey, was really incredible in putting together this beautiful piece for us. We have a sound element involved in this piece, which I want to share with you. At the bottom.
Oh, there you go.
If you can't get it, manifestdifferently.org. I know it's there. But it was also with artist and curator Joyce Grimm interviewed the muralists, and manifestdifferently.org. Look at my artists to my site. Sorry, everyone. I know it was there, but we'll get back there. And Joyce interviewed the artists, and this is where our artist that's not here today, we're going to hear from Alex De La Cruz. This is really beautiful. Yeah, go to visual artists. Okay. Go down. Go to my, go. Choose me. There we go. Go up to the mural. Yep, perfect. All right, look at this beautiful representation. We're waiting.
It's for effect.
I know the drama of it, isn't it? It's incredible. So you guys, while we're waiting, we've had so many incredible presentations. Do we have any questions at this point while we're waiting for this to load?
What's next?
What a good question, Kelly. Thank you so much for that question. We have a really robust summer program that I'm hoping that all of the people involved
in this room will be part of. And also I'll have space for others. We're doing a whole food thing. One of them is called Recipes of Resilience. The other one is Our Land, Our Food, Our Country. Here, the end of that piece by Alex, very articulate Alex De La Cruz. And I wanted just to give the other artists who worked on that mural an opportunity to talk about their piece. You can also hear their sound pieces on that beautiful website. But the prompt that the artists were given, again, part of the Manifest Differently show, was to think about how they wanted to manifest something differently in their own lives. So we're just going to go around. I know, Kim, we're going to talk about your piece first, and then, yep, I know, here you go.
For my piece, this piece was about addiction, more focused on a smoking addiction, where it says addiction is an escape and not a solution. This was inspired by one of my family members who is addicted to smoking, and when I made this piece, they were trying really hard to reduce their addiction, but I think a few months after that they kind of, in a way, relapsed. So this piece is kind of like a big part of my heart. This shows how addiction kind of takes away a little bit, but never really kind of will solve anything. It just, that's how I see it, because it's never really something that, when I was younger, I never really thought about this as hard or as much, because in my head it was kind of something normal. It was something people did, and now that I'm older and I kind of know the precautions and I've been educated further, I realized that it's something really hard to get out of and something you can't just stop doing, because it's really easy to kind of go through the cycle over and over.
Thank you, Kim. And I just want to, these are prints that were based off the work on the mural. And these prints are available outside. So we usually do have the mobile art bike, but we don't have it with us today because we have been very busy. But we do have some of the prints you can take with you. So anyway, but thank you, Amaris. If you could talk about your piece.
So mine is about intergenerational trauma.
Right on the mic. Get right in there.
Kiss it.
Yeah, keep it.
It's about intergenerational trauma, specifically in the Latin community, and how it's not talked about enough, about how we pick up habits from our parents that is a reaction to trauma from immigrating or a war that they're fleeing, and how those habits are harmful to ourselves and is just a response, and how we need to heal and recognize that those habits were no longer in that place, and we need to heal from those habits. So, yeah.
Thanks, Amaris.
Hello, I'm Esme Charles, and I go to Archie Williams High School in Marin County. My piece is about climate change, and when I think about what I want to manifest differently, I think about the environment and what I have to give to it. Growing up, I love nature and everything about it, so seeing trash just around, no matter where you are, it can be sad. And so what I wanted to think about is what can we do in our everyday lives that can help change that, whether it be just like picking up pieces of trash you find on the ground, or more widespread volunteering and doing more things like that. So yeah.
Thank you, Esme.
Hi. This print is
Right in there.
right in there. Okay. So this print was based on the Nancy Sinatra song. These boots. Yeah, you guys know it. And oh yeah, so this was inspired when I had a lovely pair of yellow go-go boots, and the zipper broke on them one day, and it was really sad. And I was like sad about it, and I went to the art program on Saturday, and I complained about it a lot, and then I was like, what if I made art out of it? So my mural piece actually has the yellow go-go boot screw-drived into the wall, if you can find it maybe. Yep, it's right in that corner. And I incorporated the trans flag colors in it, and I took a piece that we were able to scrape off of one of the faces from the previous murals and put it inside the boot. The boot is actually still there. I was really surprised it hasn't been stolen yet, but it's there. But yeah, this print is basically representing like femininity and standing up, and it's like in honor of trans women and everything we do. Not me, I'm a trans man, sorry. But no, yeah, that's the other way. But it's just to honor trans women and their strength and all of that. Yeah.
Thanks, Devin. Okay, so I know we've been sitting a long time, and I appreciate all of my young artists. This is a piece by Alex De La Cruz that is not about affirmative action. He wanted to do something different. So here is a piece called You Are Not Alone. I just wanted to share that. We had an exhibition we were one of the exhibitions at ATA. Here we are manifesting differently. We did this in December, January. I am not going to do Q&A now. You can ask these artists after we finish anything you want. They are available for you to ask questions of, talk about their work, talk about where they're going to college. They love that question. And I thank you, Kelly, for asking me what's next. So here we are, Your Food, My Work, Our Land by Oscar Lopez. And War Gastronomy, Recipes of Relocation, has now turned into Recipes of Resilience. So we're doing that this summer. You can go to the City Studio website to get more information and to apply. Tell any young artist that you know that would be interested. And finally, take two of these. I'd like to invite everyone to take one of these leaves home with you, to remind yourself that you have the power to manifest things differently in your life and in the life of others. Just like these young artists are doing every day in their schools, in the streets when we do work together. This is an opportunity to do this in your own lives. So I thank you all for coming and listening to us. And yes, we are manifesting things differently. Thank you, everybody.